What happens when a prince stops believing in love and decides to test the world himself? Stay with me, this tale will hold your breath hostage. The kingdom of Zawara glittered at dawn, but inside the palace, Prince Daru sat in silence. Everyone loved him, or so it seemed. When he walked through the market, girls fainted from excitement. Merchants offered him their finest goods. But Daru knew the truth, they loved the crown, not the man wearing it. Rumors spread that the king was ready to choose a bride for him, but Daru refused. How do I marry someone whose heart I cannot trust, he argued. That night, long after the palace drums died, Daru stood before a mirror with a torn cloak in his hands. Let them love me in rags, or not at all. He slipped out through the servants' gate, leaving behind a kingdom and a future waiting for answers. If you're ready for secrets, sacrifice, and destiny, follow and stay glued till the end. Amina lived on the far edge of the marketplace, where cracked mud huts leaned against each other like tired old men. She had nothing except a heart the world often took for granted. On the morning Prince Daru, now disguised as a tired beggar, appeared at the village well, the market women hissed. Go away, a dirty man. Lie somewhere else. You smell of bad luck. Only Amina stopped. She knelt beside him, lifting his head gently. Brother, were you hungry? He nodded. She gave him her own breakfast, the only food she had for the day. He stared at her, shocked. Why would you give a stranger your only meal? She smiled sadly. Because kindness is the one thing poor people can afford. The prince felt a knot tighten inside his chest. This girl, she is different. To repay her kindness, the disguised prince asked for work. Amina took him home, something no village girl dared to do. Her home was simple. One clay pot, the straw mat, and a small lantern barely surviving the wind. They pounded millet together. They fetched water together. Day after day, Daru watched her struggle, yet she never complained. But the village did. They whispered. They mocked. Amina has brought a beggar home. She is wasting her future. She will end up like her mother, destroyed by pity. Still, Amina remained kind, gentle, unwavering. One night, as they were cooking, a distant thunder of drums rolled across the land. Daru froze. Those were not ordinary drums. Those were the royal such drums used only when a prince or princess was missing. Amina turned to him in confusion. Why does your face look afraid? He shook his head quickly. No reason. But we both know there was a reason. The palace soldiers stormed the village like a flood of iron. Torches blazed. Horses kicked up dust. We are searching for the prince, the commander shouted. He left the palace disguised. Amina's eyes widened. Disguised? Like a beggar. She turned slowly toward the man she had sheltered. Are you? But before she could finish, soldiers approached their hut. Without thinking, Amina grabbed his hand and shoved him into a crack behind her water jars. Stay there. Don't breathe loudly. The soldiers burst into her home. You, a guard barked. Have you seen a tall young man around your age? Amina swallowed. Her heart hammered. No, sir. The guard narrowed his eyes. You're lying. He stepped closer. Closer. Until he stood right in front of the hiding place. The disguised prince squeezed his eyes shut, waiting to be dragged away. But Amina lifted her chin, voice trembling but brave. If I knew where your prince was, I would tell you. But I have seen no such man. After a tense moment, the soldiers left. When the hut finally fell silent, Daru stepped out, eyes filled with disbelief. Why did you protect me? He whispered. Amina wiped her tears. Because sometimes the world hunts innocent men. And I refuse to let it happen inside my home. Little did she know, she was protecting the very prince the world was searching for. At midnight, Daru led Amina beneath the giant baobab tree. The moonlight danced on his face, soft, guilty, torn. "I owe you the truth," he said. He removed the dirty cloak, unwrapped the head rug, and dropped the disguise at her feet. Amina's breath caught. Standing before her was not a beggar, not a stranger, but the prince the entire kingdom worshipped. She staggered back. You are the prince I hid from the soldiers." "Yes," he whispered. "But I needed to know who truly cared for me, without gold, without power, without a crown." Amina trembled. "I would never have treated you differently, prince or beggar." Daru stepped closer. "That is why my heart chose you." But destiny was not done. Because palace guards had secretly followed them. And the next thing Amina heard was, "Prince, dare you? There you are." Amina was brought to the palace not in chains, but in honor. The queen mother looked at her dusty wrapper, cracked feet, and trembling hands. But when she looked into her eyes, she saw something she hadn't seen in years: purity. Daru stood before the entire court, voice loud and unshakable. This girl fed a starving man, sheltered a stranger, and risked her life for someone she believed was nothing. "That is more royalty than any rich bride you could bring me." The nobles whispered, shocked. A servant cried quietly. The people watched in awe. Prince Daru reached for her hand. "Amina of Zawara, will you stand beside me as my queen?" Tears streamed down her face. Yes, I will." And so, the girl who once shared her last meal with a beggar became the queen whose kindness reshaped a kingdom. If this story touched your heart, drop a comment. Kindness lifts, follow and like for more breathtaking wisdom whispers tales.